And welcome back to our current events panel where we're discussing a plethora of issues. And joining me again is Mike Paton and, of course, Michelle Simard. Michelle, we're going to stick on this cybersecurity vein because I can see you're really
On.
fired up about it. Let's talk about TikTok in Canada. In Canada, suggesting they want their TikTok or ordering them to close their Canadian offices. Can you, first of all, explain what this story is about?
Okay, so TikTok's been around for, I don't know how many years, because I really didn't care about
5 years,
TikTok.
maybe 4 or 5 years?
Yeah, and now, which I knew the minute it came into Canada, that it would be a problem, which I advised everybody not to use it. And now CSIS, and now through the reports from CSIS to the Canadian government, has now notified them that it is a security threat. And now they've asked that TikTok's offices within Toronto and Vancouver be closed and have the employees leave. But people can still use TikTok on their apps, which I also find a little strange. But I understand
Before
it's
before you go into it, why is TikTok such a problem? Why were you apprehensive of them doing their operations here in Canada?
because TikTok is owned by ByteDance, which is a Chinese-owned company, which is subjected to the Chinese government, which means the government can require all the information from that company. And that means that whatever is TikTok acquires about an individual person, they will have, and the Chinese government will have it, which means Chinese government can spy on people and collect data on you, which they can use for whatever means they want to, either sell it to other companies so they can market you better, or to cause harm to you. And so that's when it becomes a problem, because our sovereignty and our right to privacy is completely invaded.
So if you have TikTok as an app on your smartphone, which I think you have to authorize, I don't have it. I never wanted it. I was like you. I'm like, nope, Communist China, not
Yes.
interested. So you have to authorize access to photos probably and videos, most importantly, probably.
Mm.
Does that mean then, maybe Mike, you can answer this. Does that mean that TikTok has access to your entire tranche of videos and your entire data on your smartphone?
Well, not only that, there are many people within the intelligence community that believe that TikTok is only a front for the Chinese Communist government to spy on you. So not only do they have access to your phone and all your data, but there's many believe that they can turn your phone on. They can record when you're in meetings. They can spy on you endlessly. Now, I don't know how much of that is true, but it's a legitimate concern. And, I don't understand why we would force TikTok to remove employees, but not just close it as an app that's available to Canadians.
Well, it sounds like almost a compromise situation. Why? And I'm going to ask Michelle the question: why just the offices? Why not the app entirely?
Well, as I was kind of alluding to, I think this is a step-by-step process, because in 2023, the government banned all government employees to be using TikTok, right, as a means of communication. And now they've now said that the offices, I think the last step will be to then ban it entirely. So I don't think it's off the table. I just think that they're just doing a phase-out approach. And why would they do a phase-out approach, right? Questions me
It
why.
sounds ridiculous. I mean, if we're concerned
No,
about
no, there's a very good
cybersecurity,
reason. There's a
okay,
very
tell
good
me,
reason.
the reason. Because as a laywoman, I'm going to tell you right now, if there's potential security risks and harms and data mining, you just cut that off right away. Why would I drag this out in a
Shut it
phase-out
down.
approach?
Shut
Yeah,
the
shut it
thing
down.
down.
So tell
Because
us, tell us.
they're doing counterintelligence. They're now watching
Mm.
them and seeing what information they have, because at the end of the day, you're cutting them off, but you have no idea how much information they have. So now that they're aware of it and they're doing it, they're now getting counterintelligence. So that's why they're doing, and they're phasing it out. And they're going to see how many Canadians through the process are actually not being users of TikTok. So it's a strategy. You may not agree with it, but I believe it's a strategy. I don't think this is just coming off the whim. I totally believe this is a strategy that's happening. And it's not our business as Canadians to know what intelligence strategies are.
Okay, so Mike, this is very enlightening for you and me, I suspect. Like, I would have never thought. I mean, granted, I'm concerned about the federal government in general, but never thought that there would be a strategy behind a phase-out approach. So is this enlightening somewhat, Mike?
I'm very skeptical that there's a strategy. I just think they're so afraid of upsetting the Chinese government that they're only prepared to indulge in half measures. The Chinese government doesn't like us. We need to understand that and act accordingly.
I
Wow.
disagree, because we're in the Five Eyes, Seven Eyes, and Nine Eyes. And I think that through the conversations with that, I think the conversation was talking to this. But you know what? Yours is much more palatable. So let's go with that.
Okay, so just for our viewers who may not be aware of the 5, 7, and 9 and all the prime number I's there are, can you explain what these organizations are, please, Michelle?
Oh, yes. These are intelligence agencies. That's why they're called eyes, because the eyes are looking at all of you. And so there's 5 eyes, which you have the Commonwealth countries, including the United States, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, Britain. And what they do is they share information with one another, and it's protected information. And no other, if you're not in that circle, then that information can't be shared. Then, of course, there's the 7 eyes and eyes where they broaden a little bit, and that
Right.
information's only shared with them. And that's how it works.